Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and attention coach Jeff Copper, and I'm here today to talk about expectations. That's right, expectations. It's a simple word, but the nature of it's really interesting because expectations are a belief that something's going to happen, or that something will come, or that something's real. Typically, expectations are a minimum threshold. They're not like a goal where if you fall short and you made some progress, at least you made it towards an expectation. Often is a minimum standard that somebody, you either achieve it or you don't. Expectations are really predetermined judgments and sometimes predetermined resentments. Two things about expectations is some of them, they're explicit, they're specifically stated, but many are implied. Like, for example, an implied expectation is if you have a relationship with somebody, you might have some expectations that they will listen to you, understand you, take care of you, whatever. I found it fascinating, the book, The 5 Love Languages, because people, when they're dealing with interacting with some other people, they have their own love language. Some people respond to touch or gifts or affirmation or acts of service. And it's really funny because what a person likes themselves is typically what they give, and a lot of times I've worked with couples that have expectations that the other person is going to take care of them, reach out, and speak to them in their love language, and the people don't even know what it is. Yet they expect the other person to kind of read their mind, and when it's not taking place, they're somewhat disappointed. The reason I really want to bring this up, when it comes to ADHD, there's lots of expectations out there, both explicit but mostly implied. And I've had many occasions to coach some people where I said, why don't you sit down and begin to write all those implied expectations, those things that are not stated, the things that are there, and just to get them really on the table to see what we're looking at. And it's very interesting because a lot of times you have difficulty with it because some of those expectations are very difficult to define. The reason I wanted to illuminate expectations is at the end of the day, they manifest in judgment, whether somebody else is judging you that you did something or that you're judging yourself negatively. And really by understanding what those expectations are and defining them and saying, is this realistic or not, a lot of times can have a very, very profound effect in helping those with ADHD manage judgment and emotions and self-regulation around some of that stuff. And I think expectations are one of the things that's like the invisible elephant in the room that people really haven't kind of talked about. Particularly when you look at expectations as what's a reasonable expectation, what's not. Clearly, people with ADHD have a different brain wiring, but there's an expectation that they're going to perform like everybody else. That's when you take a look at that, that might be a little bit unrealistic. But the sobering fact and the awareness and the reality of take a look at what expectations are, be mindful of them and be aware of them and acknowledge them, I have found to be very, very helpful in helping people begin to move forward. And I'm sharing this with you, and I'm challenging you to go out there and take a look at your expectations of yourself and others, those explicit and those implied, and begin to look at those a little bit and notice the impact that they have on your world, because they are major, and you'll be surprised at how they impact your self-worth, your confidence, etc. And sometimes you can certainly live a better lot in this world by just adjusting those expectations in a more positive way. Nothing's really changed other than your belief system, but happiness can really be impacted. I hope I've given you pause to think. Please subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button right here. We're also going to do a sequel to this with regard to managing some expectations, just some thoughts to deal with that. Please leave some comments. I'm very interested in your thoughts in terms of expectations, even how you manage expectations and your awareness around expectations. Hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.